Hello and welcome to the Healing Circle, a modern day approach to spirituality hosted by the founder, Spiritual Wellness Christine. It is my mission to help people find an achievable approach to wellness and spiritual healing. With insights into the spiritual world, this weekly podcast will remind you of just how important it is to find balance in your busy life. Hello everyone. Today I'm going to make it a bit different, this podcast. We're going to open up sacred space. I feel we need to call in our guidance, our loved ones and our ancestors into the space to really connect to the messages and the wisdom that's going to come through. So I invite you to come to a comfortable seated position. Close down your eyes and connect to your breath. Take a nice deep inhale in through the nose and a long sigh out through the mouth. Again, breathing in and breathing all the way out. Once more, deep breath in and letting go. And just let your breath return to its natural rhythm. And we're going to call in the spirits of the east, air, spring, new beginnings. We're going to call in the spirits from the west, water, autumn, healing. We're going to call in the spirits from the north, earth, winter, grounding. And we'll call in the spirits from the south, fire, summer, passion. And we'll call in the spirits from above, our ascended masters, archangels, guardian angels, spirit guides and spirit animals. And we call in spirits from below, our ancestors, the wisdom in our bones, those that have come before us and those that will come after us. And we call in the spirits of the central flame, the center flame that burns and connects each and every one of us. All healthy and compassionate spirits, please be in our sacred space today. So, today I was going to speak about judgment and the fear of judgment. Now, this fear is a biggie one for me. And I have been working through the fear of judgment for a very, very long time. But I see it so frequently in my soul session clients. That fear of judgment stops us in our tracks, makes us dim our light, stop us from really achieving our goals. The fear of judgment from others is so big that it really stops people from stepping into their true potential. So ask yourself, where do you fear judgment? Where does it come up most? Does it come up when you're with your friends, partners, family, or just in general, the public? And I'm saying, public speaking is a big thing. A lot of people fear it. But they could have so much wisdom within them, so much magic and healing in their voice. But the fear of judgment is so strong that they'd rather shy away and keep small. Personally, with me, with the fear of judgment, I've really got it when I started the Full Moon Healing Circle on Killiney Beach. And I'm from Ballybrack, south of Dublin. Small place, but big hearts and big egos as well. And so much fear around people in the area that would be judging me when I start these meditation healing circles on Killiney Beach. Only a couple of years ago, I would have been in the local pub, falling out of it every weekend. And here I am, being spiritual, bringing more spirituality to the local area by stepping into my power and creating this sacred space on Killiney Beach each month. The fear I had of what other people would think of me held me back for at least 6 months before I actually plucked up the courage to promote my event on social media and get people interested in going. And the fear came from the general people in the area, but also from family and also from friends. Surely our friends would have our backs. Surely our friends would support us and celebrate our achievements. But I knew deep down there was a few that wouldn't. And their judgment or the way they would react really consumed my thoughts and really took over with the fear when I was thinking about doing this big event. And I fought for it for about 6 months, going, they're not going to like me anymore. They're probably not going to ask me to hang out with them anymore. And I'm going to lose all my friends. But the want, the deep ingrained knowing within my soul that this event had to go ahead was much stronger than that fear. And I remember sitting with it and going, this will be the shuffle that I need, that it will happen anyway, about where you're celebrated and where you're tolerated, who has your back and supports you, and who are just the mutual friends that don't really value you. And sure enough, what I feared happened. There was friends that I have been friends with for 25 years that, maybe not intentionally, but you can definitely feel the energy has changed. They've never been on the beach. They've never said congratulations, well done. And they don't ring you as much. But when I sat with the fear of judgment, an insight came in saying, this is where you'll see the true colours of people. And I think a lot of people fear stepping into their own power because of the judgment, that deep down they know that there are people that they surround themselves with that don't have their backs, but are still connecting and holding on to that friendship or that connection for whatever reason. I realised the people that I knew that weren't going to celebrate me were the ones that I had a codependent relationship with, that I needed their validation in order to make myself feel good inside. So ask yourself, what type of relationship do you have with this person or these people that you fear that if they judge you, that they will abandon you? Will they reject you? It's so much bigger than the fear of judgment, because then the fear of abandonment comes in, then the fear of rejection comes in. So all these fears that come up rear their ugly heads when we really want to do something and we feel that calling within, the soul's pushing us to do it. I would say our higher selves are absolutely pissed off at the majority of us, because can you imagine them trying to push you on the right soul path? Your higher self is like, do this. You know you can do this. It's in you. You'll step into your power. Your world is your oyster when you do this. But us in our human form and our human minds are so consumed of what other people will think of us. And can you imagine if you think of the amount of people in this world that are stuck in this conflicting experience of their soul speaking to them and calling to them, but because they fear judgment, they keep their light small and never step into the unknown. You know, where we feel the most uncomfortableness is where we will grow. The comfort zone is great. You can stay in your comfort zone, you can keep your blinkers on, but it doesn't truly light our fire and soul. It doesn't really give us that experience of life that our soul has actually come down here to experience, to be in. The teachings, the learnings, everything. Life can be wonderful if we embrace all the energies and the lessons that our soul, has come down here to learn. The fear of judgment is so big that it runs through our ancestral lineage. If you think about it, colonization. If you're Irish, if you speak Irish, if you live or look a certain way, and I'm not just saying just the Irish, I'm saying in every single country in this, across the world, the fear of judgment runs through every single one of us. The witch trials, judgment. Anyone that spoke the truth, anyone that was connected to nature, anyone that looked at herbs for medicine, energy healing, for healing others back in the 1700s in the witch trials, yes, you would have been burnt at the stake. So I know I was definitely burnt at the stake in Akashic Records many moons ago. But most of us are. But all we were doing was just living off the land and the way our ancestors did before us. The people that were in charge at the time judged us for it and killed us for it. That sticks within our soul, that trauma, that experience is in our blueprint. Colonization, because we didn't look a certain way, because we don't speak a certain language. They burnt our lands, stole our children, killed us, our family, our tribe. So the fear of judgment is not just something new in this lifetime. It's in our blueprint, in our soul's blueprint, and it affects everyone. You know, talking to various people, you know, especially clients, and when I say, imagine you had no fear, what is the potential that your soul could do on this planet? And we say, let's push the judgment away. What is there something in your heart that you're dying to do, but your fear of judgment is stopping you in your tracks? But imagine if you got rid of that judgment, that fear. Can you imagine the possibilities? Can you imagine the flow of life and love and abundance that comes to you when you step into your power? When you release the fear of judgment? I can't even put into words how big it is and how much it really stops us. So ask yourself, where do you fear judgment? What is the one thing that you really want to do, that you'd love to do, but because the fear of judgment is so strong, it's stopping you? But you know what, on my healing journey, because I feared judgment so much, I remember sitting in it in one of my many dark nights of the soul, where we're sitting in our shadow and a lot is coming up at the time. I remember sitting there and I asked Spirit, I said, why do I fear judgment so much? Why is it just paralyzing? And then a voice came in and said, where do you judge? Straight away, what, me? I don't judge because I know what it feels like to be judged. No way do I judge. And Spirit came in and said, think again. Where did you judge? So I sat and reflected and I went back through all the experiences that I've had. Oh, yeah. I judged that person. Why? Because they didn't look the right way. I judged the homeless person on the street. I judged my friend. I judged a family member. And then I thought to myself, oh shit, I judge too. So, what in essence, what we fear, we've ultimately already done to others. And it's that interconnection piece, as above, so below. Because I judged, it rattled me when I got judged because I was assuming that other people would judge me because I would have probably judged me if I was looking on the outside in. So the assumption that people judge us is because we're judging others. So ask yourself, what you fear, where does it come up within you? Turn the mirror. I always say everything is a mirror. So if I'm judging, if I'm the fear of judgment coming in, where does that judgment come out, reflect back out from me? And I remember sitting and I actually came to realization that I judged my family. And I sat with that for many nights, dark nights of the soul. I was like, how could I judge another person when I didn't know the full story? How could I judge a family member? We're supposed to be a loving, supportive family. But that's the reason why the fear of judgment is so strong in me, because I judge too. Healing that we can do for ourselves is sitting in our shadow, picking an emotion and a fear and seeing where that fear takes us, but seeing both sides of that fear, the higher perspective. What I always say to my clients in a soul session is put the eagle eyes on, rise above the situation, see the higher perspective. What do you play in the situation? What role do you play? Because we're like, we're in a film or in a game, you know, our soul's navigating through these different levels, and these levels are our healing. And if we don't pass the level, we don't heal and we don't level up another layer in our soul path. So yeah, ask yourself what you fear, where does it come up within you? And when you make that realization and you reflect on it, I invite you to take out a journal and write out the experience, what it made you feel. And then ask yourself, do I know it to be true that everyone will judge me when I do something? Am I in their heads? Do I know in my core that they will judge me? And I guarantee you that question will be no, because nobody knows what happens in each other's heads. We're all unique and different. So then that releases that fear a little bit more, doesn't it? Releases that frozen, the fight or flight mode. So when we step into our power and we do something that really pushes on the edges of our fears, I guarantee you another layer of growth happens. You're leveling up onto another new level in your spiritual journey. When I first did the full moon healing circle, I was rattling. It was so bad. I actually, when I think about it now I just don't even, 3 years on, I don't even think about it. But at the first year and a half, every month, I was rattling. Like my knees were knocking, my throat chakra was completely out of whack. I didn't sleep for 3 or 4 days before, didn't sleep then after for 3 or 4 days because I was analysing the thing, thinking, did I do it right? The judgment. But what makes it easier is the more we face our fears, the more we push through them. And what I did every month, push through that fear, because I realised that there was a deep knowing I had to do this event. And it wasn't about me, it was about the people that came. And then something shifted, I'd say, about the first 8 times I did it. Something shifted in me, and I went, you know what? It's not as bad as I thought. And there's actually more people started coming, but it's particularly the local people I've known for years coming up and saying, wow, thank you so much. That really just touched a chord within my heart, because they would have been the people that I would have feared. And they were there every month, loving it, encouraging me, being like always there. So, what I feared initially, the judgment, it never came. Don't get me wrong, there's still a few people there, and that's their thing, isn't it? But I know myself, because I've freed that fear of judgment within myself, because I realized that I was judging too in various other scenarios. So then it raised my awareness to then, whenever I feel a judgment coming in on my mind, I stop it and say, no, I'm not judging this person or this place or anything, because I know how it is to feel judged. And that is a certain level of healing. When you have the awareness of the interconnection, you have an awareness of the polarity of the energy that you fear, judgment. I fear it coming in towards me, but I also do it when it leaves me. So now I've learned to not judge anyone, to have an open space for everyone. Don't get me wrong, I'm human, still a spiritual being having a human experience. It comes in a little bit at the edge in certain situations, but the trick is to be aware of it. And that, in essence, is your soul healing from the fear of judgment. When you are aware that you are doing something before it escalates, that is your healing. And you can stop yourself on your mind loop going off on a tangent. That is your healing. Because I'm often asked by my clients at soul sessions are, when do I know when I've healed from something? When you're aware of it. Just before it comes and takes over your mind, that you're aware and you can push it back out of your energy, out of your mind. I invite you to let those words of wisdom settle over you. Maybe take out pen and paper, a journal, write down any little key nuggets of wisdom that struck a chord with you today. And then I invite you to bring your hands together in prayer position. Bring your thumbs up to your third eye. May your mind be at peace, your body in harmony, love in your heart, and your spirit free. Thank you, everyone, for listening today. We're closing down our sacred space. I see the light in you. We have come to the end of this week's episode. I hope that you enjoyed everything that we covered today. If you're interested in what I do and who I am, you can always go to my website, spiritualwellnesschristine.com, where you can book in for a session and where you can sign up to my newsletter. You can also go over to Instagram, where you probably get the most up-to-date access. My handle is @spiritualwellnesschristine. With all that being said, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'm looking forward to seeing you here next week. May your mind be at peace, your body in harmony, love in your heart, and your spirit free. Have a good one.